Okay, well we're here with part 2 for the reading for Beverly. And of course my computer had to die when I was almost done. So I get to start over again, but you know, life is hard. Okay, so I believe I had left off right when I started part 2. I was talking about the future bit. Um, and did I talk about that? Okay, sorry. I'm getting all mixed up here. But okay, so the future parts that I was about to talk about, the Four of Cups. Okay, the Four of Cups tells me that your relationship is with this person is becoming more and more fixed. There's starting to become less fluidity to this. I think in the immediate future, it's going to become much more apparent to you that you have sort of reached the limits of your relationship with this person, that it's really not going to go as deeply as you perhaps once planned. That it will, that I think what as your final outcome, the Four of Discs, is really saying that it's going to remain the way it is as far as some sort of financial partnership, or I'm really not sure exactly what your relationship with this person is as far as finances or economics are concerned. But, you know, in some capacity, this person will remain loyal to you as a more platonic friend. Um, they're not going, it's not like your relationship with this person is going to abruptly end for whatever reason. It's going to remain solid, excuse me, but solid not necessarily meaning, as I said before, a romantic thing by any means. It's more about resources, about maybe him being there for you as a support, either, I don't know, perhaps emotionally, but just in general being a source of security and comfort for you more than anything else, but not really anything beyond that. Reinforcing the idea that the Four of Cups is always sort of about really like, it's really good, the situation's wonderful, but it's really not going very further, very much further rather, and it's becoming quickly quite boring and uneventful because it's not growing anymore. It's reached its max capacity. Okay, so that's what's ahead of you. Um, and now, something I was talking about the Fool before, I think, in the first part too I did. And the Fool, I think, again, this is really necessary for you. Um, and I think it's very important for this to be in, the best you can get out of this part of the reading, the Crown. Um, because the Fool speaks to really starting over and getting out of this situation without really a care in the world. Not letting it become a downer for you, but just see it as it is, as something that just didn't work, and just sort of happily move on your way here. And I do believe that the universe is, as I like to say, the universe is basically telling you that this isn't meant to work for you, and you don't need to keep trying to make it work. I think you're starting to know that. So I thought I had other things to say about this. But, oh, yes. So, I think the Fool being also a card of spontaneity, perhaps as this situation develops further, I suggested that you may start finding out things, perhaps, about this person that you didn't necessarily like before, because there is so much hidden about this person. In the Prince of Cups, too, like, you don't really know much about him in some way. Like, there's an aura of mystique to this person that I think you find very appealing. And I think it's misleading you. I think you think this person is a lot more profound than they actually are, especially when it comes to their emotions. And I'm going to tell you that they're really not. They are a loving person, but not in a particularly romantic, idealistic way at all. Um, the way they love is very slow. It's slow to start. It's slow fire. It really doesn't get very far very fast. And it is very difficult for these types of people, for this type of people rather, to make attachments to others. Because they really don't have a sense of idealism. They stick very much to reality as they think it is, and ain't nothing going to change that for them. It's very difficult, especially for Taurians. My gosh, I mean, Taurus people are very set in their ways, and they do not like change very much. If they have change in their lives, they like it to be gradual, slow, and gentle, and they like to feel like it's, they're in control of it. And I think that's why they have the moon as part of their I guess, their makeup. Okay, so now just to go over the energy types of this reading, and also your deep card. Your deep card being the Seven of Wands. The 7 being another 7, I associate it with the 7 of Discs here, the How You See Yourself card. And I think you've just tried very hard to make this work. And this is telling you that you need to stop trying so hard. That it's not going, that it's not going to bear you much fruit. Even if you keep trying. So save your resources and save your energy, and don't feel like you have to try so hard. There is really nothing else you can possibly do. You have exhausted your resources here, or whatever else. So really let it go and don't worry about it, because it's really not a big deal. If this were a big deal reading, you would have a lot of majors, but as the only majors are the Fool and the High Priestess, I'm not too worried about this. This is really just kind of a social issue, and I think you'll get over it. So yes, so that's that, the deep card. But as far as the energies are concerned, you have a lot of earth, a lot of water, and one lone air card, and then this poor fire card, which I sort of don't even count because it's your deep card, but as sort of the underlying thing for this situation. So, water and earth being in that high quantity, it really is just such a slow reading. The whole situation feels so heavy and really mucky. There's just too much weight here. And I don't know if that's just because your relationship with this person has to remain relatively practical or pragmatic because of your, perhaps financial situation with this person, or, I just don't think that lends itself to any much more profundity than you already have, whatever that is, whatever depth of this relationship you already have. And the amount of water we have without air is really the element, of course, of rationality and clear thinking and decision making, free will, and that sort of thing. And the only air card we have being the Fool, this is a very clear indication that this is something that is desperately needed in order to pierce through some of this muck, as I just said. In this case, the Fool is less about stupidity and mania than it is about making the decision to walk away from this. And in that case, this is less about, the world pushing you in that direction, though I think it is going to and is doing so now anyway. Excuse me, but it's also about you actively choosing to do that of your own free will. And I think that will be better for you in the long run anyway. This is something very much needed, and I think eventually if you follow that route, you'll look back on this and really kind of chuckle at it, I think is the message of the Fool, that this is so not serious. I think it feels really serious right now because of the Saturn business in Taurus, and I think you have a lot of weight put on this person. I think you, in some ways, have put all your eggs in one basket, like you're really pushing for this one person, But you know, as people say, there are plenty of fish in the sea. As we know, it's some website even now, which makes me laugh. Um, I don't know how that got in there, but it did. Um, so, you know, feel free in this situation. Don't feel so locked down in this. This isn't your only option here. You know, and the lack of fire entirely shows us that you are really suppressing any creativity of yours in your emotional life and in your happiness. You're preventing yourself from creating any new happiness for yourself. And again, you've sort of staked your happiness on this particular situation, and I really think it's about time that we moved away from that. Um, I think that's very important to do for you right now. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I want to say here. Um, I think that's about it. I think that's all I want to say. So if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me a message. Uh, there I am. And I will be happy to get back to you. Thank you very much for ordering a reading, and I hope you found this helpful. And anything else entertaining. Okay, and I'll see you all later. Take care.